Shut up and sit down.
Everybody my age pees their pants. It's the coolest. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
Woke up today, feeling kinda good. Gonna take my whip out for a ride around my hood. Before I leave the house, I clean up my ride. I make it shine so bright, it's got me feeling full of pride. I head out the door with music in my ears, put my foot on the pedal, and it releases.
You are jamming to the Dialed Podcast with Matt LeGrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. When you are done listening to this, I want you to leave footprints in the sands of time, so stop dragging your feet.
Life I live, spreading passion through my bike, I got a lot to give. Sessions with the homies, that's all I need. Not the money, the fame, or to get on TV. What a good day, I couldn't hate it if I tried. Riders mount up, and homie, let's ride.
Are you sure this is safe?
As sure as I'm a doctor professor.
Let's ride.
When you by my side, the things that I can do. No matter how low or high, you always pull me through.
Mark Twain gives this sound advice. Learn to ride a bicycle. You'll not regret it if you live. Hold on. What do we actually mean there?
Hi, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von Turing, and I'm here with Lance.
Wait for it.
Friggin'
Hepler.
Nice. What's up, Hep?
Shazam. I'm here for you guys.
To Lance's left, Matt LeGrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look pretty good. Looking pretty good.
I dressed up for you, Matt. I wore my best t-shirt.
I can't see the t-shirt that's under your dress shirt there, but I do appreciate you taking the time to dress for me today.
Why are you caressing yourself?
It feels good.
Simple answers for simple questions.
And simple pleasures.
Yep.
How are you boys doing?
Not
Perfect.
bad.
You know what? We always talk about what we're going to do on the podcast, and we know what we are doing today, but we didn't talk about any kind of order, and we've been kind of mixing it up a little bit lately.
Oh, boy.
Are we just bringing back the back pedal first and just getting it out of the way?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I think we are.
And I think we should. There's a lot to talk about with like news and stuff too. So
There is. Matt, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
same thing as last week. I've actually been running quite a bit. I think I took one day off of running and went swimming, so I don't know how to swim anymore. But I'm running a little bit each day, and I'm loving it. All trails, all the time. Good times.
Fantastic.
Cross country season is in full swing. I'm losing more hair because of the stress of the job, and yeah,
It takes a bit
it's
to wrangle high schoolers.
85 kids. And,
Is it 85 kids?
and those numbers aren't even that high. Like our record was 125 before COVID. So yeah,
Yikes.
Why is cross country so popular? I'm dumbfounded.
No
that
cut
it's that
sport?
big.
I'm dumbfounded that it's not more popular, Lance.
No, it's running sucks.
No cut sport, right?
It's a no-cut sport.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It's a no-cut sport, although maybe we should start cutting kids that are giving me a hard time. You give a coach a hard time, you're gone.
Out.
Right on.
like
Any
that.
bike rides?
Yes, I did a mountain bike ride, same kind of thing, but nothing, no road. I haven't been on the road bike in a while. I've probably forgotten how to actually road bike.
Yeah, I might have to go to learn to ride road bike school with you.
Yeah,
one of these
okay.
days. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Sounds good.
Speaking of which, you should tell us what happened with your week.
My week?
Any doctor's appointments?
Here you go.
Oh man! If you know what that sound
We
is,
did have that this week.
If you know what that sound
Everyone should know what that sound is after this week, right?
Well,
what day was that? Was
Any
that yesterday?
Anybody who's been an athlete longer than like
You're not enjoying what I enjoyed.
3 or 4 years is
that's
going to know what
that's
that
the
sound
MRI.
is.
I thought it was the emergency phone
no,
thing.
it's the MRI sounds. How many MRIs have you had, Matt?
At least 2 or 3.
I've had it probably a dozen.
Same. Well, here's the fun part. So I had my MRI this morning at 6 a.m.
Yes.
And-
I thought this was all a reference to that emergency phone thing that went off.
No, that was just me sitting in a tube for 45 minutes this morning.
It's freaking loud.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
It normally
45
takes...
minutes is a long time.
It usually takes half of that, but when you're special like me and you have metal hardware in your body, you have to do these like special imaging reduction things that they use to kind of pull out the metal. I don't know how they do this, but anyway, long story short, I had to sit in there for 2 sessions as opposed to one.
Oh, wow. That's
And
a lot.
Yeah, just lay there, don't move, and can't go pee, and you know me, and you lay there and they tell you not to move, and the first thing you want to do is move, and then like all of a sudden you're like in this tube and you're like, I've got an itch on my calf. You're like,
Nope.
dang it, I can't get that. So you're sitting there, think about something else. So I don't know. That was my week. Moving on. Lance
Okay.
Epler.
Brutal.
Sorry.
You don't know result. You're not going to know results for a while.
It'll probably be sometime next week. Fingers crossed. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting closer to getting some answers, but
you're gonna get this message, and they're just gonna be like, "You're broken. You're broken." Like from your doctor. That's it. That's the answer.
that
it.
or you're just a big
broken.
Sally Pants. I don't know.
No.
Maybe cut me off at the hip and
You're
do some
broken, Sally
Blade
Pants.
Blade Runner stuff. Lance, go. I don't want to talk
Runner.
about me anymore.
And continuing with the old broken guy topic, I also had a medical thing this week. Well, not really, but I had a cardiac stress test. I did a cardiac stress test because I have all this. It's actually something I requested. My doctors didn't request it because I have all this cardiovascular disease
Me too.
in my family history. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do the cardiac stress test because I want to know, do I have something that is blocked? And no, it all seems like my heart is running perfectly
Have
fine.
you ever done a cardio calcium score? I'm going to do one of those soon at some point.
Yeah, I've done that too. So far, I'm all good.
Hopefully your numbers are 0.
Yeah, that's the idea. So anyway.
That's the thought.
Riding bikes with old guys.
Yes.
New podcast.
Broken guys. I also did race my bike since we last podcasted.
We could have like a totally different podcast. This is
could.
riding with the elderly. How's prostate? Is
How's
that
your prostate?
95% of the
Oh,
conversation is
I
your
got you.
prostate?
Okay, at the start line at Trophy Cup in the 50-plus field, we roll up, and there's this one racer who always goes, I got to pee again. There's one guy that
I
always
was
says
not
it.
there. Stop looking at me.
So, and of course, everybody just piles on him. It's. I don't think he's going to care. It's Webster Wilson.
Oh, really?
He rolls up and he's like, the last 3 weeks, he's like, I just went and I got to pee again. He's like, it's not nerve. And we're all like, it's your prostate, old man. Everybody's old in this field and your prostate's bigger than you think. And so, of course, you got to pee again. But anyway.
Just pee yourself.
Yeah, well, we all just tease him instead. It's kind of funny.
What would a triathlete do?
He would
Definitely
just-
pee themselves.
Just soak that chamois.
This has been Old Man Talk.
So not good.
Press play to continue on for Old Man Talk.
Skip 15 seconds. Skip 15 seconds.
Skip 15 seconds to continue on prostate talk. Okay.
Okay, no, I did do the race. Sunday was Heiser Farm cyclocross race. It's out at this pumpkin patch in Dayton, Oregon, on the west side of Portland.
Sometimes those stalks can be like sharp and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Your legs looking cut up and beat up, but
I did bleed some during the race, and I don't know what I hit, but I hit something.
the month.
It's possible. But actually, the cyclocross course is not at the pumpkin patch. It's at the farmer's personal house.
Oh, cool.
It's really pretty cool. So like the start line is in his driveway, and there's a little there's I completely forgot what it is.
I can just imagine him like looking out his window and being like, "Those punk kids are at it again."
There's like 300 people there,
Right,
and they've
right.
just got their garages open and their front door open because we're all racers. We're all we're parking in his field right next to the house. We start on the driveway.
pretty awesome,
We ride
actually.
through his vineyard. We go through his backyard. I mean, it's really quite cool. The finish line and all the tents are lining up and down his driveway. I mean, he's got this cool old red barn. It's just it's really cool. So
I haven't been there. I need to. Need to go.
Good for
It's-
him and that family or whoever they are to
yeah, and they
handle
allow us
all of
to
this,
do the
all
race there. It's just
crazy stuff
fantastic.
with old men peeing themselves. Good job. Good job.
The course is one of my favorites because it winds through the woods and the corners are a little greasy and you're rewarded for for cornering ability and whatnot. I had a super hot start. I felt great. And I was in second place for most of the race and ended up placing third
Nice job.
in the 50-plus field. So, hoo-ha. Fantastic.
Well done.
Hallelujah. So,
Series standings.
I am in third place in the series overall. So
Any chance at second?
there is a small chance at second and an equal chance for fourth place to catch me.
Ooh.
So I'm 9 points behind second place, and fourth place is 9 points behind me.
First place out of reach.
Yes, first place is out of reach.
Gotcha.
That's John McCaffrey. He's won 4 out of the 6 races or something. Yeah, so he's been killing it.
He's strong.
So basically, for me to keep a podium spot, I have to beat James Coates or not place less than 4 places behind him on this last race of the series. So there's way too much math involved. This weekend's points is worth double points, so you have to kind of figure everything out. It should make that most people will be there. I guess people who are vying for the podium. Okay, what I'm basically saying is if you're listening to this and you're in the 50 field, please do your best to beat James Coates. just get in front of him somehow, somewhere along the way. And anyway, James Coates is very good. He's a 2-time cyclocross national champion, actually. But that was like 25 years ago. It's been a while since he's won a national championship, but he's still very good.
Good.
So anyway, yeah, I've got a shot at the podium. I just have to do better than James this weekend. What else did I do? I also raced Trophy Cup. I was not taking that race too seriously because this race this weekend is pretty important. And man, I can certainly tell in myself when I'm on and ready and when I'm there for fun, because they blew the whistle. I was on the front row. They blew the whistle and I was like,
But what was your mindset going into that? Is like, I'm going to go race hard, going to win this thing? Or was it before the race even started?
It was, I'm just here to race with my friends and have fun. And so I was not like fully engaged in it, right?
It's okay, Lance. You can tell us the truth. You can hold on.
Whether you're first or middle or last, what's important is that you're you. And people can like you just the way you are.
You remember that. You remember that, Lance.
Okay. I don't think people like me anyway.
First or last, they do not like
they
you.
Still do not like me. Can somebody get that Hepler guy to shut up? He's talking. Nope. He's always talking too much.
Having way too much fun out there.
Anyway, yeah, I kind of went out the back right at the beginning, and I ended up like 12th or something. I just kind of like ran through the laps. I didn't go super hard. It's all good. There's a jump on that course. I took the jump every lap because that's what you friggin' do at Trophy Cup. It's just party time. So it was fun.
Good.
Sweet.
That's
you
it.
raced that correctly then.
Okay.
Good job.
Plus, I can't do that whole series anyway. I'm leaving town next week. I'm going to miss the last 2 Trophy Cups. I'm not even going to be there for them. So
yeah.
So it was like motivation like dropped.
Are there any news stories to talk about today, guys?
Champ here.
Oh, wait a
I'm all
minute.
about having fun. You know, get a couple of cocktails in me.
You drinking
Start
cocktails
buying
again, Champ?
Is Champ around?
Maybe go to SeaWorld,
Champ is
take
here
my pants
drinking
off.
black raspberry.
Yerbe.
I'm not drinking
That'll
the
make you wet
Yerbe.
your chamois.
You want to wet your chamois? You ever ridden it? I'm going to shut up about the wet chamois. Okay.
Have
so,
I ever ridden in a wet chamois?
Yes.
Yes, I have. It's not pleasant.
It's not pleasant.
In the rain or for other reasons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, triathletes, right? Like we've established on this podcast that triathletes will pee themselves on the bike, right? Have we established that?
We have established that.
Yeah. So
Is that one of the reasons why triathlon chamois are like half thickness as a normal cycling chamois? Also because you're swimming in them?
it's the number one reason.
So that you can pee them and it doesn't hold. Oh my God. We got to stop.
Move on. Move on, champ. Move on, champ.
We can't talk about that anymore. Okay, I thought the funnest story of the week in pro cycling was this sprinter from Lotto who unclipped right at the end. Did you guys see this?
I have not watched anything because I have been fully consumed in life. I have not watched anything. Zero.
This is the week of Italian one-day cycling races. So there's been a race like every day this week, which has been kind of exciting. It culminates with Il Lombardia, which is the final monument of the season, which is this Sunday. In one of those races, Arnaud Delis was sprinting at the very end with 30 meters to go. He's sprinting at 1,300 watts. His cleat breaks, and his right foot pops out of the pedal. And he looks down, and he's like right there. He had like a 4 bike length lead when it broke.
Yeah.
And he he didn't know what to do, so he just pedaled with his left
like Flintstone style?
With his leg. He just pedaled with his left foot.
Left leg. Gotcha.
He single leg like sprinted, and he like just barely crossed the line before the second place
Oh
guy.
my Lord, that's freaking awesome.
He actually won it, and he ended up breaking his cleat. And his quote was, "I prefer to sprint with 2 legs."
Nice.
That was his quote afterwards. So
I love that.
that was pretty exciting. It just, something broke and something happened. All right. So there's also, we are still filled with rumors from transfers and team mergers.
Yes.
This
This is the transfer drama. This is one of the best transfer years that I can remember.
Can they fully not talk about this until the very, very last monument race of the season? That's why we don't have full disclosure on who's going where, when, why, and how?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe so.
It's not after the last Grand Tour. It's after the last race of the season, which is
right now.
this weekend.
Which is
So we
this-
should know
yeah.
for sure next week. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the very last tour. There's a whole week-long tour of Turkey that's happening, but I think that stuff is going to come out next week. Roglic, okay, so this was the big... Okay, so I remember last week I said, no way this merger's happening. It's all a bunch of crap. I'm probably going to have to eat crow on that because everything looks like it's actually going to happen. There is going to be some kind of merger between Jumbo-Visma and Quick-Step. Visma, or see, I can't even...
It's okay, champ.
I like you just the way you are.
Thank you. I feel better about myself. I can continue.
Roglic is the big story. One of the big stories besides breaking cleats.
Besides breaking cleats. Yep. Roglic did say, yes, I am leaving Jumbo.
Okay.
I'm leaving Jumbo, but I'm not going to announce it until after the last race of the season. I don't think that'd be fair to my current team, is basically what he said.
So it's the right thing for him to do. It's the right time for him to do it. And he's a stand-up dude who has made me a fan of him because he has been, mostly because he's been the most supportive of Sepp Kuss of all those people. I think that's the way it feels to me, that he's the most happy with Sepp Kuss winning the Grand Tour recently. So
he's a spectacular sportsman. Yeah.
Yep.
And good dude.
And he has had a lot of crashes and a lot of problems. And he's always been one of those guys that's like, yep, just not blaming anyone, just this happened, and I don't know. He seems like a stand-up dude. It's tough times for him, for sure. He's had a lot of tough times.
The rumor mill pretty much thinks that he's going to Bora,
right?
Hansgrove. His contract is roughly going to be 6 million euros a year. So
they're putting it right up there with Pogacar, yeah.
Yeah, correct.
That's payday right there.
That's payday right there. And so they're pretty sure that that's what's going to happen. It hasn't been announced yet, but
that's a good team.
It's a good team.
That's a good team. They've done well. If you look at it, they've had
Jai Hindley, yep.
Yeah, they've had
And
yellow
Sagan for
jersey
years.
moments early in the tour. They've had a great couple of years, I'd say. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah,
it's not Jumbo-Visma. I mean, he's not going to have that kind of support, but
still.
And then we start to talk about...
They're players. They're definitely players now with him on that team. And for him to be able to work with the likes of a Jai Hindley and help develop him down the road,
yes,
that's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to have his own aspirations as opposed to, working with someone young. But
but I mean, if you think about it, Jai Hindley had a great showing at the Tour last year for the most part. I mean, he had some off days, but he's still young, and to be able to learn from the likes of Primoz Roglic, that's fantastic. Knowing that Primoz is going to be the man.
You're not going to pay Primoz 6 million euros a year without making him the man for the Tour de France.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're going to be a two-headed monster, but that's a good duo to have there. And that in this day and age, you almost need to have that. You need to have somebody waiting in the wing so that when Roglic does crash, he can step in
when
and
he
do his
crashes
thing.
Inevitably at stage 17, like always.
Yep.
I think it's stage 17. There's one stage that he always,
This actually makes this next year's Tour de France really intriguing.
It makes it very interesting.
Because there's going to be 4 major players on 4 separate teams, most likely, that it's going to make it interesting. You'll have Vingegaard on Jumbo-Visma. You'll have Pogacar on UAE. You'll have Roglic on Bora. And you'll probably have Remco Evenepoel most likely
on a different team somewhere.
On a different team, probably on Ineos. So we got 4 big teams, 4 strong teams, all with a guy that has a shot at it instead of it just being a
It's better that
two-person
way,
race.
isn't it? It's
Like,
better that
yes.
way. I mean, it's hard when you're like, oh, look at this team that has 3 guys that can win the Grand Tour, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3. Like that's great. It's exciting. It was historical, but at the same time, it's also like, meh. Let's have a battle somewhere.
Right.
It was fun to see for 1 year. And it's kind of nice to see it kind of like disbanding now. And
Yeah.
it's going to be fun to see how it stacks up, just like you said. So
Yeah. So it should be interesting.
Other news.
What else happened?
There is a certain one of Jake's favorite athletes has confirmed that they're coming back for the Grand
Correct.
Tour.
Yes, that has been confirmed. So
Cavendish is going to come back and try and get that final victory.
Mark Cavendish has unfinished business. He wants to come back for that final victory.
He wants that record.
So he extended his contract.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Jake?
Asshat.
Yeah.
That's what we think.
Jij bent een klootzak.
I forgot what that means.
It means
asshat?
It means
You're an asshole.
It means you're an asshole in Dutch.
So, again, I don't remember what I said last year. Someone will hop on in the comments and tell us, like, oh, yeah, this is what you said last year. I think he can get one. I think he can get one victory. I think he's got a chance.
Nah.
Meh.
Nah.
We took bets last year, and I think I was the only one, or one of the only ones that thought he could do it.
Yeah.
And he crashed out, right? He didn't get any of
He crashed out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
He doesn't have.
the pop that he used to.
He
but
still has pop. He's still
does.
smart. He's still savvy. I'm not going to take that away from him. He doesn't have the same pop. Doesn't have the same lead out trains. I just don't think it's going to be his year to do it. I don't.
each year is going to get harder and harder.
Yeah.
They brought somebody else in to help him
Yes.
too. Markov or Morkov or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
So who knows?
there's
what'll happen.
so many more talented sprinters, and I just don't think that he is going to get an opportunity like he's had in the past with the lead out trains that he's had to put him in that position. Just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I wonder if like they'll find some early stage and then he'll drop out afterwards after he gets it. He's just, I don't know. Is he going to do 3 weeks?
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. So that's interesting. In other transfer news too, we learned that Primoz Roglic, his trainer and coach, has
Right.
has
This is interesting.
confirmed that he is going to Bora Hansgrohe.
Yeah.
So that's just another pretty big sign that Primoz is going to Bora Hansgrohe.
Yeah.
The bummer about that is that same coach and trainer was also Wout van Aert's coach and trainer, who's been training him for the last 16 years.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him eventually move on. Like there's
Wout?
there's nothing holding him back from going somewhere else.
No.
There's other teams where he could be more of a superstar. And I'm not talking specifically about Bora, although that would be interesting. I could see him being like, there's too many eyeballs on all these other athletes that are not me, and I can be a superstar somewhere and not have to domestique someone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best, one of the best athletes in the world, arguably one of the best cyclists in the world.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a bunch of times. Can he lose 10 pounds and be a GC guy? Does he want to be that guy?
No, I don't think he even wants to, but he could.
know.
He could be like, I'm going to do green jersey stuff and not be,
encumbered by having to be some domestique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not getting a breakaway and then wait for you guys to catch me so I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you think that Jumbo Visma is kind of, well, I mean, they're talking about this big giant merger, but do you think that they're making a bad move here? Is this a mistake? I mean, they're potentially bringing more people on, but you've already had Remco say that he doesn't want to race for that team. You're losing Roglic. You're losing a coach. You're bringing in new faces. You're doing all of these things. And I'm sure that could potentially be a good thing, but you're talking about
business, Jake.
It's
this
business,
is not
but you're-
personal. It's business.
And you get these mega superstar teams in any sport. They've got names across the boards, but if you don't have that chemistry, it's just not going to work out. I mean, in baseball this year, I mean, this isn't a baseball podcast, but there are some of the biggest payrolls didn't work out. On paper, they're supposed to win everything, and they didn't even make it to the postseason because there's just no chemistry there. And if you have all of these different people pouring into this team that's been this mega superstar team that's been kind of developed over the course of time with some mainstays
There's some
in there.
name for this where it's like when everyone's scrappers and they're working together, it's like easier for them to have this incline, and then they win like a World Series or something like that, and then everyone's egos get big, and then their paychecks get big, and no one wants to work together, and so you start to see this decline. I can't remember what the name of that curve is, but there's some smart name for it. It's almost inevitable, right? Where it's like Jumbo was clearly at the top of the game like 2 weeks ago through. I mean, like very recently.
Right.
It makes sense for them to need to shuffle the deck a little bit.
But for me, I think the biggest reason why they would even consider doing this merger is the fact that they're going to lose their title sponsor in Jumbo.
That's it.
But
That's it.
there's also rumors out there that Amazon's going to step up and be the one that throws $13 million at him, or $30 million rather at him. And
15, I think.
Is it 15?
The rumor is 15 million. Yeah.
We'll
That's
see.
so nothing for Amazon.
I don't know why. Amazon doesn't need the exposure. I don't understand that
They want
at all.
They want access to the team for some of the documentary things that they're going to run on their Prime.
That's not true, Jake. That's not true.
No.
Amazon's actually going to have them deliver package as they bike.
Yeah.
Messenger bags. No more Musette bags.
Yeah.
Messenger bags.
That actually would be really cool if they had like little
They're flipping
Amazon,
stuff on the doorsteps.
Amazon little things. No, I think that Amazon at that price point, sure, man, they could do that. I think they could use the positive exposure of having a team and being a part of it. I think that it makes a lot more sense than Apple. I think Apple is looking for these video or streaming services, kind of more of like, and I know Amazon has their own streaming service kind of situation. I just think that Amazon is a bigger company and they're looking for different things. Whereas when Tim Cook goes to places like that, he's looking to make deals for Apple TV. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, you've got two major companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, that both have streaming services, and there's been rumors about both of them wanting to have some sort of streaming rights to this particular team. Well played if that's how they're going. If they're trying to get these two things to go head to head, and then, like at the last minute, they'll announce the one that they partner with to get the biggest paycheck. But
yeah, but it's different, right? Like I think if you're going to be one of the streaming partners, you can't be a sponsor of a team. You have to, like, you can't double dip. I think you need to be either more general and be like, we're not picking favorites. We want to broadcast this race, therefore we're not going to sponsor a team. Or you do the opposite, which is like, yep, we're pulling for this team. We're trying to make them, be as great as they can possibly be. Our name's on the jersey. We're not going to try to cover the race as well. That seems like
I think those TV rights are already wrapped up. So
yeah,
I think it makes more sense to try and get something a la documentary style, like what Netflix did.
Netflix, yeah.
Something along that with one of these teams, I think makes a little bit more sense. I could be wrong.
I would have loved to have seen all the background stuff on Jumbo throughout this whole year, just because it was such an amazing year for them. That would have been very cool to see. Well, not just in the Tour de France, but like
that Netflix documentary, I think has like another season. So we may get information on that stuff.
But it was just for the Tour de France, not for the team for the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's such an incredible story too. That story does need to be told. I think that would be a fantastic documentary to watch if it was just talking about Jumbo-Visma.
It also worries me a little bit when these documentaries come out and it's like, how much of the anxiety or how much of the ego stroking, like all of those little pieces, was that built into the documentary, or are we bleeding some reality TV kind of
some scripted
ethics
stuff
into our documentary series, which we don't want to have? I feel like we don't need that. That's not. I mean, I know that it does have it be like a little bit more successful when you have that drama, but I don't want it.
Like the Netflix show showed some tension between Wout van Aert and Vingegaard.
And how much of that was real?
I don't think that was real at all.
That was some special editing.
I just don't think, like, if you're going to do a documentary, do it right, people. And I think that was a successful series. It brought eyeballs to our sport. Yeah. I think it helped. But come on, guys, it's not reality TV. Don't make it reality TV.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
that's my argument.
Next week, I think we'll have a little bit more clarity here.
It should be more clear next week. So,
have there been any more whispers about Remco and where he's going to potentially end up if this merger does happen?
Just that he doesn't want to be with Jumbo. But I mean that contract.
He's got a contract though, and if he
does, but if they give up their UCI license, anybody with a contract that was on Quick-Step can go wherever they want.
Huh. All right.
And it would take Ineos 5 minutes to put together a deal to sign.
Oh, they already have it put together. It's just
yeah.
That would make sense for Ineos. I would feel bad for the other GC contenders at Ineos because they're good. There's some good athletes there.
Who?
Philippe.
No.
Philippe Organa. So who was
Organa.
Who was their GC guy last year? Your taint.
Oh, Ineos. You're talking about Ineos.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
talking about Ineos.
Gotcha.
I think Is he retiring, or is this his last season?
He has
coming
not
up?
announced his retirement yet. It seems like
He's got another year in him.
he's probably got another year in him, but not at top level. He just was off a little bit
Doesn't
this
want to be
year.
Mr. GC.
His podcast was just fantastic this year.
Yeah.
It was great to, you just get all this insider stuff and you hear these two teammates just yapping about all the other guys they race with. And it was really insider. I really liked it.
I need to get on that. I've listened to bits and pieces here and there, but I need to get on that.
It was fun to listen to. So, so do they really have a good GC guy? If they bring Remco in, can his personality mesh with that team? And
Can his personality mesh with any team?
I don't know. It's a good question.
What we do with what we have.
Thanks, Mr. Rogers.
What does Egan Bernal do? Does he need to? Because he's young still.
He's young still.
He's come back from his injuries.
But has he come back as far as he can?
No.
That's a great question. And maybe Ineos knows the answer to that.
His injuries were devastating.
Yes.
So it's amazing that, what was he? He was top 10 in the Vuelta or something, or really close to it. So, I mean, the fact that he did that is just incredible. So,
Michael Kwiatkowski is amazing. They have some amazing athletes.
Heck yes.
Who else?
Yeah, there's good people on
Filippo
Ineos.
Ganna is.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a GC guy.
No.
There's a Martinez guy that was looking pretty good. They've got this young kid
Didn't that Martinez guy go to somebody else already?
Did he? Well,
I think he did. Danny Martinez?
He can't though. Who's the? Yeah, was it Danny Martinez this year that was their
Danny Martinez?
Is he on? Is he on it?
He's still on the team, and he hasn't gone anywhere because
Okay.
they can't announce that yet, right?
What about Pitcock? I mean, he's like a superstar of
one day.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. But still, he's got potential. He's got GC potential.
Talking about Pidcock, I'm about to take a big left turn here. Are we done with that talk, or
Sure.
should we keep going?
No, let's go. Move on. We
Jake's
Go.
not done.
No, I'm done. Yeah, go.
Pidcock, so races mountain bike. So he came to Vermont.
Wow.
He came to Stowe and did the UCI mountain bike races, the short track and the mountain bike races. He in the cross country mountain bike race, he started like fourth row or something. Within the first 2 laps, he was on the front.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he worked his way past Nino Schurter and all these other world-class guys, got a front flat tire. So stopped in neutral support, swapped his front tire, but it was dry conditions and they only had a mud tire. So they put a mud tire on him. He dropped back, he lost 15 positions, swapping that tire. Then he does another 2 laps and goes, I can't ride this mud tire anymore. It's so much slower. So he stops again, swaps for a dry tire, ends up back in 15th position, still worked his way to 5th overall.
What?
13 seconds back of the winners.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. So he just dug in and he's freaking good.
He's got a motor.
Yeah.
He's got a motor. There is rumors that he might line up at the Big Sugar gravel race in Bentonville.
Really?
Which is in a couple weeks, 3 weeks or something like that.
Talk about a guy that could crush some gravel races. That guy.
Yeah, Pidcock. Yeah, one-day gravel races. Heck
Right?
Yeah, right down
There's
his
money
alley.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway.
I think he could be a GC guy. I think that it's weird. Ineos is a weird team.
Right.
They're a weird team to have that much talent.
Yes. So, yeah.
And still not have a great GC person.
And hanging on all those things, too, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, 2 big upcoming races to talk about. So Il Lombardia is coming up this Sunday, which is the last monument of the year in Italy. I think it's in Italy. I don't know. Lots of big names going to be at this race. So big one-day race. That could be fun to watch. Who's in it? Pogačar, Roglic will be there. Remco will be there. A lot of good one-day racers. So that could be an interesting race. But also on Sunday is the UCI World Gravel Championships, also in Italy. So go figure.
Interesting.
So last year's winner, Vermeesh, is lining up. Ivar Silk is lining up, who won Unbound a couple years ago. Wout van Aert is doing the Gravel World Championships. He is not doing Il Lombardia. So he's chosen to do the Gravel World Championships.
I applaud him for that.
Yeah, very cool,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He's going to come in second place, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, he can't. He has failed to win a World Championships this year. He's had like 4 second places or something.
It might even be more than that.
It might
but
be
yeah.
more than that. So pretty crazy. The Americans sent over a group of 6 to go to the World Championship gravel races, including Keegan Swenson, Payson McKelvin, Alexei Vermeulen. There's like Brendan Wirtz, I think Russell Finsterwald, Tobin Ortenblad. They're all going
Wow.
to the
Nice.
Gravel World Championships with the goal of getting Keegan to hopefully
Podium.
win.
So they're going to support Keegan, huh?
They are going to
I feel
support
like
Keegan.
podium is a great spot for him.
Podium would
Be
be
a really good goal.
It would really show that American gravel racing is legit if Keegan can get on that podium. Is it possible?
It's so interesting because that group has never had to like work as a team.
No, they have not.
It would be interesting.
They're all friends.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
They all know each other.
They know how to ride.
They know how to ride. They've been They've been
Sure.
racing against each other for a couple years, for 5, 6 years in some cases.
Is it different to race for someone versus
It is.
race against? Like, do they need to be domestiquing him and
Yes.
handing water and getting things taken care of,
Or-
take care of him, and
or
set him up to-
attacking or trying to get in the breakaway and letting Keegan rest for
Exactly.
a late race attack, or bringing that back, or doing work to bring back
Right, an attack.
an attack that has gone away. So
Really, that team has potential.
it has potential.
Yeah,
There's
those
some
are some
big
big
names
names,
there.
yeah.
Big names.
And if they're all working for Keegan, that's just, I love it. It's
Yep.
just fantastic. Just
Agreed.
like a whole different type of racing for them.
What's the Belgian squad going to look like?
Well, it's Vermeesch who beat Vanderpool last year.
Okay, who's working for who though? I mean,
I don't know. You know Belgians.
yeah, that's true.
It's hard for them to not give up their own personal glory.
Do you happen to know if this is going to be broadcast or televised?
It's not clear yet. It might be on Flow Sports.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, GCN will be showing Il Lombardia.
So what you're saying is just watch the highlights on YouTube?
It possibly. Plus, it's a 170-kilometer race, so
Yeah.
you just want to watch the highlights of the last
Yeah, that's
30K, right? So I think it's going to be on Flow Sports, and Il Lombardia will be on GCN, but
All right.
I'm not sure. So a couple big races coming up, so that should be exciting.
Cool.
Champ out. That was enough.
Champ Bailey out.
All right, that was fun. I got to figure out where to watch that because that sounds awfully intriguing. It's good times. What do you guys want to do next? Want to get into our
Topic, or do you want to
for-
do we have any sort of Patreon drawings or anything like that we want to?
Yeah, I think we should do a Patreon drawing because I did allude to that last week that we are going to do one this week.
Okay.
So let's do that. Lance, you want to grab the little shaker deal?
I got it.
This is exhilarating talk right here. We're all staring at different things. It's good times. I'm over here struggling, and Matt's scrolling, and Lance is
Scroll
looking
it.
at something else here.
Scroll
I'm trying
it.
to find out where the World Championships. It says GCN Plus. Gravel World Championships will be broadcast in the United States and around Europe on GCN Plus.
Interesting. Do you have GCN Plus?
I do.
Of course he does.
Can you share that with all the listeners so everybody can use your
Give
account?
us your password.
Here's my password:
555.
555 Big Daddy Balls.
What?
I knew it. I knew that was your password. I was gonna guess
Big Daddy
that.
Balls 55.
1971.
All right.
1970.
Let's stay on,
1970.
let's stay on target here. Come on, let's do some Patreon stuff.
Stay on target. Not doing well there.
All right.
Okay.
We got a drawing here. The winner is Big Daddy Balls 55. Sorry. Okay, I'm picking out a winner. It is Chris Mann. Chris
Oh, Chris
Mann,
Mann.
you are
Chris
the Patreon
Mann.
winner of the week. Thank you for being a Patreon and supporting these couple of idiots who are, I'm their genius here. These two are idiots.
Yep.
Here at our show. So thank you, Chris.
So we didn't even say what he won yet, did we?
Boy, what did Chris win?
Chris won himself a dialed water bottle.
Fantastic.
We got another one of those that were thrown into the mix. So Chris, you won
that's a
yourself
nice-
a dialed water bottle.
That's a nice pickup.
Reach out to us and we'll get you set up with that. If anybody is interested in being a show supporter and you want to become a Patreon yourself so you can enter into these wonderful little drawings, you can go to dialpodcast.com, click on the Patreon link, find a Patreon level that works best for you, and you'll be all set. We do really greatly appreciate it because it helps keep this little dog and pony show going.
Yes.
Because we do have bills. We're not getting paid, but we do have bills.
Bills. Pay my automobiles.
There you go. So cool. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Guess what?
What is it?
We get to ask Matt questions. It's an AMA with Mr.
A
Matt.
lot of pressure.
Freaking LeGrand.
Hot seat. Feeling a lot of pressure right now.
Matt LeGrand, how big are your balls?
Tiny.
Are they shrinking?
Especially when you put them next to Big Daddy, Big Daddy Balls 54. Whoever that is, whoever's password that is.
All right, let's do a little AMA with Matt. Lance, do you have questions? Do you want to go first? Would you like me to? What's going on here?
Matt, I got a question.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
I'm scared. Fear is
should be
real.
scared.
The fear is real.
Okay, this might be an uncomfortable question, but it might be something that people really want to know.
Okay.
Do you think your competitive days are behind you, or is there a potential for a rebound and a return to racing? You've had a lot of issues with your Achilles.
Yep.
It's
Okay,
been-
so
yeah.
I don't have a good answer for that, and I will. That's the crappy part. Is like I don't have like plans to just absolutely crush some race in 3 weeks. So the answer is I don't know. Like I'm gonna keep exercising every day. If things start to look really good, in some direction, whether that's swimming, biking, or running, I will follow that direction. I love racing. I love being out there. I love being with the people that are racing. And even if I'm not crushing it competitively like I was 5 years ago, that's still okay with me. I'm still happy to be out there doing stuff. I'm enjoying what I'm doing currently, which is coaching a whole bunch of athletes. And
Well, for the most part, you're enjoying that. It is
I
so
know,
much
right?
high school
There's
kids.
some hiccups, but and then making videos, testing a whole bunch of products and things like that. I'm enjoying every minute of all of this stuff, doing exactly what I'm doing right now. And so if I don't, the problem with this being ultra competitive is it kind of takes 100% of every, like your mindset, right?
Yes.
Where it's like, get up and you're not thinking about like, how am I going to get this video out? You're thinking about like, oh, training today, got to get my 2 workouts in, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's fine. And I've done that and it's been great and I love doing it. Is that what I'm going to do in the future? I don't know. So I don't have a good answer for you.
I feel that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I did have a question that was kind of similar to that, but
Go ahead.
Do you have any unfinished business in that arena? Not are you going to go back, but do you have unfinished business
I
there?
would. I don't think I kept it a secret. Like I would have liked to have qualified for the Ironman Kona World Championships, which I did not qualify for. I think I was very, very close, and that's okay. It's never been like a bucket item thing. Like I never was like I mean, once you get close, you're like, oh, now I want to qualify, but I didn't. You know, it's not like I'm not going to regret it or lose sleep over not making it. So no, I don't feel like I have any sort of missing piece. I think had I not broken 10 hours in the Ironman, that would have been one of those things where it's like, oh, I was so close. And I did. So yeah.
But you did do that.
I did. Yeah. I broke that. And so that was definitely nice to have accomplished, you know, like check that off the box. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to break 9 hours in an Ironman. That's not happening. So yeah. So I feel pretty confident on the triathlon side that I did some good stuff and I'm good with that. More to what Lance's question was like, I love going to events and being part of these things. And so if I do get to the point where I can run a marathon and I'm even like whatever, 3:30, which for, you know, half the people out there, that's going to sound really fast and half the people are going to think that's super slow. The point is, slow or fast, like to be able to do something and be able to do it confidently and be okay with it and to be able to be at the point where you're like, yeah, I'll travel to something and go do this with friends. Like that's alluring to me, not necessarily trying to qualify for some certain thing. So,
but, I mean, to put that in perspective, you came from a place where running a 2:20 marathon was probably doable.
Yeah.
So to run 3:30 for you was like pedestrian.
No, I mean, I think it's all relative to where you are and what you know, and so I don't get I think the part that's pedestrian is like, I don't get excited about a 3:30.
Yeah,
I
right.
wouldn't get super excited about breaking 3 hours where
Right.
other people will.
Would be a
and
huge
sometimes
deal.
that excitement helps motivate training and all these things so I don't have that like, oh, I could do this. I could break 3 hours. Like, if I break 3
Right.
hours, I break 3 hours. That's fine.
yeah.
But the attractive part to me is like, ooh, I could go with Lance. If I need to get in shape to go hang out with Lance and go do some fun stuff and some fun trips, like that's alluring to me.
Yeah.
So there's motivation. It's just different than like hitting a certain time specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is what's holding you back more of your injury? Is it more of your time? Or is it both?
I don't know. I think it is a combination of those two things. So it's hard because when I'm running right now, I'm like, oh, this is going okay. You know, I'm really enjoying my runs. I ran this morning and it's going okay. And that's the thing that's really been the holdup, right? Where it's like, can't do a long run, can't do these things. Like you really can't train that well if you can't do some of the stuff. And so if you start to see a little glimmer of hope on that section, then you start to think, well, maybe I could do some stuff or get back into shape or do certain things. But then the other side of the coin is like, well, then I would have to give up it really would be like, I'd have to give up like half of the work that I'm doing on videos or something. Cause there's no other place to pull from. And
like
so that would
Lance
be hard.
said way back in the early days of this podcast, you can only really do three things well. And your family, you've got a job, you're
Family,
self-employed,
work.
and then your videos. I mean, that's a big time of what you
takes
put
up tons
together.
of time. Yeah.
And if
Yep.
you want to dedicate time to train, something's going to give.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Get
So
You're in an extremely busy time of your life right now.
True.
Anyway,
Kids are real.
And 3 kids, and at an age where they're not really self-sufficient.
You guys have known nothing about having 3 kids.
they just can't do stuff for themselves yet. So they take
Right.
a lot of time and effort. And
well, not for
watching.
nothing. That time is kind of precious. You're in the moment and you kind of get it, but
Yes.
it all of a sudden is gone.
Yes.
Before you know it, and you're like, "Oh crap! How did that happen?" And then
Right.
you start getting nostalgic. You're looking back through photos and videos and all this stuff, and you're like, "Man, did I enjoy that enough in that moment?"
Well, and it's interesting because I was very competitive with triathlon when those kids were 2, 4, 6, those ages, which
Sure.
is great. So I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. I don't have any regrets. Like I'm not like crying over like missing something, but like at the same time, now it's like we go to these swim meets and we're gone all weekend on swim meets.
Right.
And my wife and I enjoy cheering for the team. We cheer for our kids. We know all the other kids and we know their times and we can like we feel like we're into it. I don't feel like I'm missing stuff on that front right now. If I were doing triathlon, it would be, okay, you go do this and I go do an 8-hour bike ride or whatever it is.
I got an 8-hour bike ride I've got to do this weekend. So we
Right.
got to fit that in between these two
Which
swim
we
meets.
wouldn't be able to do at all because it's like
No.
swimming will be like Friday night, Saturday all day, and Sunday all day. And that's okay. Like missing one of those days would be fine. We would be able to make it work. But I'm also enjoying exactly what I'm doing right now.
Right,
So,
exactly.
So it's okay.
Enjoy it while you can because it goes
Right.
by fast.
Yes,
But
your daughter's
it-
graduating.
In
so.
the long run, I mean, if you look 15 years down the road, the relationship you have with your kid is way more important than how freaking fast you did an Ironman.
My kids don't know who I am.
Well, yeah,
So,
okay.
I read a statistic.
but they know my 5K
But
times.
no, your 5K splits.
Then my splits.
I read a statistic or saw somebody saying something once about like the first 18 years of your kid's life, you spend virtually every day with them. So the first 18 years are with them for all 18 of those years for all intents and purposes. I mean, there are going to be little bits and times where things are like they're going to camp or whatever, but the next 18 years of their life after they move out or whatever their adult life is without you is totaled when you put it all together. They say it's 1 year. So if you think about that, like when your kids leave, a lot of times, like you really don't get that time with them anymore. So don't screw that up.
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be anomalies. There are going to be family dynamics and situations, and if you do a good job, your kids are going to want to come around. But for all intents and purposes, they're gone, and you just don't get that same time with them again. So for me, that's been a bit of a struggle too. Like you want to go out and you want to do all the things, you want to conquer the world, and you have a hard time saying no, and then you look back at your family. I'm like, well, crap, that can't be my sacrificial point, and that's been something where I've had to actually self-check myself. And if I'm not self-checking myself, my wife is self-checking me.
Yep.
Squaw, kicking me in the backside, and it's just a subtle reminder that PSA here.
Even with coaching, it's been hard on my family, right? So it's like you're taking care of 85 other kids, but you're not taking care of your kids at that time.
That would be better when you're coaching your own kids if they ever
My oldest
run.
kid is telling me he doesn't want to run cross country.
Well,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
that
well,
happens too. Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
I understand. He's all in on swimming. And swim coaches are asking me to be an assistant coach on swim programs. I'm like, I do not need another job. The last thing I need is another job. I love it. I feel honored but
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you.
Okay. Is it asking me for another job?
Matt, I've got this
job.
Job for you. This is kind of a little question here. Tell us a fun fact about Matt LeGrand. A fun fact that we might not already know.
I told you guys a long time ago, I like small fitting socks and small fitting gloves. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was on podcast like number 2 or 3 or something
like that.
weird
Yeah.
like that.
I think that was one that I just
tight socks and tight gloves.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
That is a little weird.
It's like, so like you probably wear like maybe like large socks or something like that. Like I would go medium, like just like they gotta fit tight.
They gotta fit tight.
So I think it goes back to running where it's like you can't have wrinkles in your socks because you could get blisters and then you can't run as much as you want to run. Everything's gotta be tight. It's gotta be tight.
Okay. That's the fun quirk about Matt LeGrand.
Okay.
What about a fun fact? Something we don't already know that you haven't disclosed on this podcast.
I don't know what where's the line? Like, what
was your high school GPA?
Whatever you want, dude.
I think I was only like a 3.5. It's not that good. I had okay. So here's a fact that's not good. I won an award in high school for best. I think like increase in GPA over the high school. Like
you started off kind of
crappy.
You guys put it together real quick. I started off very, very poorly, and I think that I did better as I got older. But you can't win that award unless you have done quite poorly, and I did quite poorly. So
The truth is inside of us, and it's wonderful when we have the courage to tell it.
yeah, hard facts.
Hard facts.
Hard facts. I don't tell people that usually, but you guys, just you guys. No one else is listening.
Nobody else is listening to this.
Lance, you got another one for him?
If you,
if I was a pony,
what
what color pony would I be? Rainbow. Okay, that was no. Okay,
no, that wasn't my question.
Okay, my bad.
Your goal with the YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'm curious to see where you're hoping the YouTube channel would take you, because I would hope that at some point it would get big enough that you could quit your other job. Is that something you've thought about?
I have thought of that, and it's interesting because I have friends that have done exactly that situation, and they're it's really I feel like the YouTube channel has already accomplished any goals that I would ever have for it, where it's like I've got to meet cool people, I've got to do some neat things. Having it be a replacement for a job is not one of those goals. If it happens, it's okay. I like programming. It's hard to be, how about sounding really like a cocky bastard, right? Like I'm good at programming.
That's my job on this
I'm good at
podcast.
programming.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, oh, I'm going to switch away from all that stuff and do something. And I can charge a lot for that. And it's almost like, oh, you can just print money with the programming. It's so good and it's great. And like the projects that I get to work on, I've definitely let the cat out of the bag. I tell people I'm not really supposed to talk about who I work with or whatever it is, but I get to work on like these prototype jobs for this company that I admire in some ways and I, have issues with in others, but like it's really neat work that I get to do. Even the project that I'm on right now is like just cool, and I get to see stuff that no one else gets to see, and it's fantastic. And so to give that up would be hard as well. So I'm trying to balance the two, where it's like, and I'll literally be like, okay, today I'm going to work on a video. And so that's like, today I'm working, and like tomorrow I've got to get more programming type stuff done. Of course, I'm going on a cross country trip and stuff like that. And so everything gets a little bit squished, but I just try to dedicate specific time to each. I don't think that I would ever want to give up programming anytime soon. I don't see that in the future, but at the same time, like maybe the future is going to affect that specifically. Like whether AI comes in and makes programming obsolete, that would be fine. Like I think that it's possible. I think that there's other avenues for me exiting programming. But there's no plans on me specifically like trying to get away from it with the channel itself. So a lot of times I think people will be like, when I get to this number of subscribers, then I'll be able to do X, Y, Z or whatever it is. And I think it's a bad way to look at it because then you're not happy with where you are currently. And I have like these really great people that I feel comfortable chatting with. And it's the guys that have very successful channels. And I just think to myself, like, those guys probably at some point, like some small part of them probably misses the fact that they don't have 20,000 subscribers. Like I can imagine like, oh, there's probably some regret there. There's probably some piece of them that's like, I can't change my content right now because I've got 125,000 subscribers wanting this.
Yeah.
And I have to do exactly what is prescribed to me because this is my paycheck and this is how I pay for my kids' food.
Yeah.
And to be in this spot right now where I'm like, okay, I have 20,000 subscribers, which is more than enough. And to be like, I think 10,000 would have been fine as well. And it's like, those are good times. And don't overlook the fact that they're really good places to be, because I could literally take my channel in a completely different direction tomorrow and that'd be okay. Like it'd disappoint a couple people, but that'd be okay.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with where it is.
You're the only person
only
who is
person.
exactly like you. So in a way, you've already won in
Okay.
this world. Because
he
you're
said it
the
better than I
only
did.
one who can be you.
Thank you, Fred Rogers.
Yeah, he nailed it.
He nailed it.
He always nails it.
Good one, Matt. I like that. Yeah. Embrace it.
Yeah. I'm in a great spot right now. And the subscribers are going up. It's good. It's all good. So,
Have you ever dabbled with the idea, like a lot of people do, that ultimately doesn't end up working out all that great, but having a second channel just so you can have a creative outlet for doing other things that you don't have time to do?
Yeah. I think so. I think that I think a lot of people, what I've seen is people do that and they'll have like a throwaway channel almost. And so I think like Desfit and like Dave Dillon, they both have different channels where they will like review tech or something. They buy a computer, they'll review it, blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. But those channels just get completely neglected. And so, I could see if it was a very different topic that I was interested in, I think it would be very difficult to do that just because then again, you've got twice as much work to do with the same amount of time.
Right.
So no plans to start a new channel. I mean, obviously I think like reviewing camera stuff would be really interesting.
Yep.
I was more interested in doing that maybe like a year or two ago than I am now. I think I'm quite happy with where things are right now. And my interests now are more like, okay, is there something automated that I could set up that could kind of get close to making content on its own that I wouldn't be quite as proud of, that I could put on a different channel that still covers like triathlon news, for example? Like there's something there that I would love to kind of stay connected with the triathlon community, and news seems to be somewhat underserved. And it's like, okay, I could build something that's just like comes out daily that just requires the minimal amount of work, right? That kind of just covers that little piece where it's like, this is what's going on in the world of triathlon. But I would almost want that to be automated and not super...
Hey, you already have your bumper set up. You just sit down, press go on record. You have a studio ready to go, and then it kicks. You one take it and just maybe put a little color grade on it and post it and go.
I wouldn't want any of I would want to do it almost the opposite of the way that I do videos now, which is like spend a week on making it perfect.
Yep.
So yeah,
that can be fun.
Could be. It's probably you think like, okay, this will be something that'll just do itself. It'll work itself, but there's no such thing as that. Like self-making, self-recurring income. These passive incomes, they're not always passive.
Nope.
As I'm speaking to a couple of people that actually know what they're talking about when it comes to passive incomes.
This one's I want to ask you this one because I'm curious to hear what you have to say, and I know that I've personally got stories that I can share about this, or like retrospects I can share. But in life, you have fails. You fail at things, and sometimes when you're in the moment, it's super hard. But as time goes by, and as you reflect, and as you grow, and as you change from those fails that you've made, those experiences almost become invaluable. Because it teaches you how to do things differently, and it teaches you how to navigate or how to deal with adversity. Do you have any fails in life that you are like proud that you had or happy that you had or thankful
Cyclocross.
Cyclocross?
Yes, there's some sort of cyclocross meme around here somewhere. No, definitely, I think I think that what's great about YouTube is you can actually go there and you can click on videos and you can sort in reverse, which I should not tell people about because they'll go to my videos and they'll look back at 5 years ago when I first posted videos. And you can see it, and at the time you're thinking like I made that video and I know I thought like this is a good video. Like somewhere, I promise you, I probably thought that. If those videos are horrible. Absolutely
I wouldn't say they're horrible, but compared to what you're putting out now, the quality's not quite the same, but they're still enjoyable.
And I think it was interesting because I thought to myself, like, okay, it's okay if I don't know what I'm going to say. When I turn on the camera, I'll just talk and it'll be fine. Turns out,
you gotta have some
sound like an idiot.
You gotta have some idea.
You sound like an idiot.
You learn a lot, yes.
Yeah. So I think the same thing actually happened to me when it's funny that you have these fails, remember? And you're like, the question was, what are fails where you've learned from? Here's a fail that I clearly didn't learn from. I used to give presentations on software programming and things like that. And one of my buddies was like, okay, let's do this presentation for this like company or whatever. And I was like, perfect, let's go, let's do it. And he was like, I'll talk about this, you talk about that. And I was like, all right. And I just thought to myself, well, wing it. Like, I'm fine. It went horrible. And then I think I learned like, okay, if I'm going to give a presentation, and I went on and I used to like travel around the country and give these presentations on programming, and you have basically the whole speech kind of prepared. And so you learn from that. But then yet here I was flipping on the camera thinking I would just wing it and it would work and it would come out sounding more natural that way. And it was horrible, And so those presentations that are now like gone and dusted and not recorded, thank God. I mean, some of those are recorded, but not that first one. Those are gone. That's great. However, these videos on YouTube, they stay forever. And so you kind of do get to see some of those fails in public. But so the point is, what could you learn from that? You should probably prepare before doing any of this stuff, whether that's, giving a presentation on YouTube or giving a presentation to your company and things like that. It does help to prepare. Cyclocross, I did prepare for, and I still failed. In cyclocross, I just finished the race, and I was like, this is crashed a couple times. My bike handling isn't that great. Yes, I'm not good at this. And I thought I was going to be bike handling. I thought I was going to be good. Because it's true. I really was like, this is so similar to cross country.
You were fit, you were fast. Yeah,
it's like, I'm fit, I'm fast. This very much feels like cross country. Like, this is going to be my big new thing or whatever. And I was horrible at it.
These races I line up with, like if I line up in a race and there's 50 guys in our field, there's 30 of those guys who would handily beat me on the road.
And it's just like all about it's bike handling.
It's a different story on the cyclocross track.
What about in triathlon?
I am a very competitive person.
No, this is bad.
And I certainly am
Speaking
always
of
motivated
things,
by
he knows how to
things.
find quotes to make us hurt.
Trying to be the best type of triathlete that I can be and try to be as fast as I can be.
Anyway, I'll cut that off.
15 years
Speaking
ago.
of YouTube living forever.
Yes, I know.
That's on YouTube. That's where it lives. Okay.
Yep. Lance giving a presentation at
sounds like
George Fox.
It's George Fox University. It was part of my MBA program. I was giving some presentation. I don't remember what it was about, but I made it about me because that's what I do.
Yeah. Works.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know. I was talking with one of my kids not too long ago about some things that they're having, like trials and adversity that they're going through with other kids and things of that nature. And, I'm just trying to explain to them, like, you might have had a misstep, you might have done things incorrectly, but if you have the ability to kind of look at the situation and reflect on it and grow from it, you'll look back on it and you'll, at some point in your life, thank yourself for that. And I've had so many of those situations. I probably just had one this morning. God, who knows? But if you're just constantly learning from your missteps, then it's a good thing. So it's
two ways to learn things: easy way and the hard way.
Yeah.
There's only one way to learn things. That's the hard way.
You learn better by your failures. Absolutely. Than even learning from other people's failures.
Yep.
It just sinks in when it's your own failure.
It's hard to have kids and see that where you're like, oh,
yes,
only one way to learn.
Yeah. And
the hard way.
It's hard for them to grasp that with their undeveloped brains. Yeah.
Any more questions for Matt?
Why are you so dreamy?
It's the beard.
It is the beard.
It's the beard.
I don't have any more questions.
Is that beard coming back for the full November thing? Are you just doing something?
I don't have it. Are
no shave
you
November?
supposed to no shave? I don't know. I'm not planning on not shaving in November.
Don't we
But
normally do facial hair stuff that time?
do I do normally
It's
do
for,
facial
like,
hair things? I
testicular
always
cancer or something like that.
That's not my plan.
Movember.
Movember.
Yeah.
My plan is to shave it whenever I feel like shaving it. So
That's what she said. Excuse me? That's what she said.
oh yeah.
Big Daddy
Sorry.
Balls 55.
All right. Any more
Last-
questions?
that's it.
Matt
That's
LeGrand,
it.
any
Off
more
the hot
questions
seat.
for Matt LeGrand? There's any questions that you wanted to answer that we didn't ask you?
No one asked me about my. Never mind.
Big Daddy.
All right, let's button this bad boy up. Let's jump into one last thing. Speaking of the YouTuber,
Okay.
the one and
I
only
can
Matt
usually
LeGrand.
go. I think last week I posted a video on the Apple Double Tap thing. That's worth checking out because as of about today, I think that Apple has actually released the software for people to use the Double Tap on their watches. So it's coming out of, it's either in beta right now or it's coming out soon, where you can actually use the Double Tap feature. I had early access to some stuff and I talk about it and how it can be confused with some other things. This week, or if I can get the edit done today, tomorrow morning, I'll post a video about the Garmin Forerunner 965 after 100 days. That's my plan. Next week, who knows?
Cool.
Try to survive this week.
Lance Epler.
Lots of big racing this weekend. We've got Il Lombardia, the Last Monument. We've got the UCI World Gravel Championships and Zolder Cross.
Oh, that's a big one.
The last race in the Harvest Cross series here in the local Portland area. And it's right here basically in our backyard in Clark County at Alderbrook Park. So excited for that.
Last race of the series.
Yes.
You excited for Cross Crusade?
I am not. I probably won't do all the races.
Gotcha.
It was a little difficult. The series, to win the series, they're counting every single race this year. So there's no drop races in Cross Crusade.
Is it because they have less racing?
Yes,
Yep.
I believe
Right.
so. So there's no drop races, and I'm missing the first race because right after Zolder Cross, I'm leaving for Utah with my wife. My wife has a soccer tournament in St. George, and
That'll be fun.
Driving her down there, and I'm gonna take a mountain bike, and maybe I'll do one of the Utah cyclocross races. I might do that.
There you go.
So you're gonna bring a cyclocross bike too, or just do it on your mountain bike?
I'll take a cyclocross bike.
I'll take 40 bikes.
Yeah, I probably will take 4 bikes.
Yeah.
Which is too much. But what the hell? That's what I do.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, my one last thing will be the Zolder Cross as well. We will be out there. The Dialed Cycling Lab will be out there supporting that, and we are going to be doing the neutral support. We'll have our team out there. We've got some big team pavilion thing that we get to use, which is going to be pretty cool. And then the lab, this Dialed Cycling Lab, will be providing a ton of prizes for the series winners as well as for the raffle. We've got a bunch of stuff from Cask Helmets and Wahoo and Silka and Scratch Labs and Garmin and SRAM and Giro and Tailwind and Carbo Rocket. And the list just keeps going on. Oh, I think we added Snap Nutrition's going to jump on and give us some stuff as well. So we've got, it's going to be well over $1,000 worth of stuff that we're going to be putting out there for all these folks to have and enjoy for their hard work.
It will be worth it to stay through the raffle at this race.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're coming to the race, stay through the raffle.
And Lance, speak to that venue. You've been there. It's pretty cool.
It's really cool. You know what? The most unique thing about the Alderbrook Park is there's a lemonade fountain.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of unique. They actually
I've never used it.
Yeah, there's a lemonade fountain. Pretty cool.
I need to check it out.
So it's actually like a park and a wedding venue, and there's a little lake there, and
it's cool.
It's cool.
It's a pretty diverse course, right?
Yes, it's difficult. There's potential for some steep climbs and run-ups. There's a couple of sand volleyball pits that will make for difficult sand runs or sand sections. It's going to be hot and dry that day.
Which is crazy because for the last 2 weeks almost, we've had a couple decent storms that have come through and days of rain and just gloominess. And then all of a sudden we're going to have 4 days of 80 degrees.
Correct.
And that's going to be the third day of that. So does that change things for the better or for the worse for you?
For the better.
Okay.
Well, actually, probably, I don't know. Either way.
Show up and find out.
Just got to
Echo-Lance.
show up and dig and find out. Yeah, please yell stupid things at me.
Anyway, we want everybody to come out, so come on out, enjoy that. Yeah, be good times. So, all right, we will be back next week with another one of these, and until then, bye for now.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? My neighbor? I'm glad we're together again.